Welcome to Techie Talks AI by Schogini. Here's another amazing project from our AI Internship program students. Let's get started.
Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I made a guessing game using just JavaScript and HTML. So initially I made this guessing game entirely using Python code. Then I simply converted the code into JavaScript, JS, and yeah, this is how I made an HTML format one for this. So first things first, let's just try how this game goes in a live server, right? Let's just open it in a browser. Oops, I already opened it, my bad. Okay, so what do we have here? Play. And it opens up a prompt to guess a number. No. Seven. No. And let's try one more time. The third final attempt. That's the right answer. There you go. So I guessed the right answer to be two, and it just showed a prompt over here. Well done, that's the right answer. So that's a very simple premise of the game. You just have to use your three tries to guess a secret number that the computer is guessing in this case. So yeah, nothing too much. So let's go behind the scenes over here. So what do we have? First off, we have the classic HTML boilerplate over here. Typical HTML format, as you can see, doc type, language, character set, and the viewport and device, the display settings and everything over here. And of course, we start with the title, number guessing game, as you can see over here in the tab. Oops, in the tab up here, number guessing game is what displays over here. Whatever we write on the title is being displayed as the title up there. And we have the first heading right there, H1. As you can see over here, H1 is whatever is being typed over here as a main prioritized heading. And after that, we go to straight to the first paragraph, guess a number between. These are all how it works behind the scenes. It's pretty simple. And we had our first button. See, as you can see, play is our first and only button, right? And I just gave the button like on click it start game. It's a function. We'll get to that in a minute. And I gave the name for the button to be play. That's it. And now that I've mentioned about all the basics things over here, let's get to the script behind. So since button is what starts the game over here, it's what's kickstarting the game right there. So button is gonna be a function right there, right? So whenever we click this exact play, it's gonna kickstart this entire function that I written in JavaScript over here. So let's get started with that, right? So I named it start game itself to be same as this, right? And first off, I just start with the secret number itself. So random number between 1 and 9 right here. So it's constant because obviously I do not want the number to change every single guess. For example, even over here, if you click over here, just yeah, there you go. And if whatever number I click over here, it's gonna be the same. The secret number the computer is guessing in this case is gonna be the same throughout the entire three attempts, right? So if, for example, I don't keep this constant right here, as each attempt goes, the number would be different for each of the three attempts, right? So I do not want that. So I made it constant over here. Same with guess limit. I want it to remain same. Three, I do not want. And over here as I go, I changed it to let over here just because, of course, guess count is going to increase. Otherwise, the loop over here is going to go infinitely long, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, I want a guess count to be zero for now, but it's going to change. So I have to let over here. Same with guessed correctly. This is going to be the game changer. It's false for now, but whenever guess correctly changes to true, it's going to flip it up for us, and we're going to win the game, right? Whenever we win the game, it's going to change to true, and the loop over here, the while loop over here, ends immediately. So what's the while loop over here? Guess count less than guess limit. That's a while condition over here. So if my guess count, the number of guesses I made so far is less than the number three over here, the while loop continues. It's a pretty simple premise right there. And as the first line over here, I commanded it to give a prompt, right? That's the user guess. right over here, as you can see, this is the prompt. So that's what this is about. And we have a simple string over here. It gets a number of attempts. And the reason why we have a dollar sign over here and here is that we're injecting variables into a string, right? It's a simpler way of doing things, just like the equivalent of using an F string in Python, right? So that's how we do it. That's how we bring variables into a string in case of JavaScript in such a simple way, right? Now going on to the next one, if user guess equals null, as in if I cancel the prompt, if I cancel the game, it returns back to original, right? If I press cancel in the prompt, the game will show null. It won't show a number, it will show null. And we return back to where we started. And set, for example, I give cancel over here, there you go, the game ends. So that's the logic running behind it. And this is pretty simple, it's pretty self-explanatory. User guess equals parson, as in the whatever guess we make over here, we're converting it to an integer right here, right? We need to change it to an integer because whatever we give up here in the prompt, it can still be recognized as a string, right? Because this is a string, let's be honest. So there is a very good chance that the computer still would recognize it as a string. So we need to change it to an integer right here. And let's go to the next one. This is the premise of the entire game itself, I guess. When you win, the user guess, our guess will be equal to the secret number, whatever the computer guessed over here. It's going to be equal to the user guess over here. For example, even before when I entered the number 2, it ended up being the right number. That's what the computer guessed over here. So I ended up winning it. So, which is why it showed me the message, in this case, alert, that well done, that is the right answer, right? So that's how the code over here breaks the loop. That guess correctly changes from false to true. And because I guessed the secret number correctly, and the loop right here, the while loop over here is broken. It doesn't, that's another thing too. So even though we don't have to, in this case, we don't even have to reach 3 tries. No, in my first attempt, even I could guess the correct number and I could break out the loop just because I changed guess correctly from false to true, right? And I can break the loop like that, or I can it goes on to an else condition. Nope, try again, which is like the attempts, right? So if I make my first attempt, I get the wrong number. Attempt, try again, and it goes on and on. When I go back to the loop over here again, I start from the while loop from step 1 again. And that's how it goes. And if I keep failing, guess count keeps increasing, and after a point, the guess count will be over the guess limit, and that's when while loop would break again. That's the another condition. That's a main condition actually for the while loop to break. And once it's broken, we can go to straight over here, and the code is going to verify if this is true or not. And the exclamation point over here indicates not guess correctly. The whatever comes over here, it's supposed to be not. So if I did not guess correctly, if that ends up being true, then it will show us what the secret answer was, what the secret number was over here, right? So whatever number I make 3 attempts, I fail, the code will come up to here, and not guess correctly will become true because I didn't guess the right number, right? So it will end up showing this message right here, which is another uh, formatted string. In this case, as in we inject a variable into a string, and it will show us what the right answer was. And the game ends again, and the loop ends again over here. And as long as we don't click the button up here, it doesn't start again. So that's it. That's pretty much the end of it. And we have script ends here. Make sure to end every tags as you start with a slash over here. That's another thing to note. I have made many mistakes like that. Same with the script over here. Always end it with a semicolon. No matter whatever line you go, you have to end it with a semicolon. That's a very important condition for script.
That was another inspiring project from our AI Internship program at Schogini. If you're ready to kickstart your own AI journey, whether you're a beginner or a coder, join our online internship today. Visit shogini.com/AI-internship and take your first step towards becoming an AI innovator. Don't forget to subscribe and keep learning with us here on Techie Talks AI.